Good morning, AnthroExpo. It is Absol here, and I am super excited to be on time because I decided to sleep through my alarms this morning. That was great. Thank you so much for having me as a panelist this morning. This is actually my second panel I've ever hosted. Hello, Twitch chat. I see you and I feel you. And yes. So we have a little bit to get through today. I want to preface this by saying astrology and tarot is one of those things that can be very decisive, or divisive rather, and it's very important to come into this with an open mind, because there's a lot that goes into the belief system behind astrology and tarot. So with that being said, I'm really excited to do some knowledging with some astrology and tarot. Most of the tarot part of it is going to be me doing some live readings for you all. And the astrology part, I'm just going to kind of throw some knowledge in your face, and maybe you'll learn a little bit about something you didn't know. So let's take a look at the Twitch chat real quick. Yes, good morning. Good morning, all. Having me, right? Oh, I mean, nice. Cool. So, astrology is a wide array. Some people may know it from... I remember my first experience with astrology was the little scrolls that you could get at the gas station way long ago, and you'd unravel them and it would tell you everything. It would give you your lucky numbers. It would tell you everything you needed to know for the next part of the year or whatever. And I always remember being told, like, oh, your astrology, like whatever your sign is, that's everything you are. And I didn't realize the depth and complexity that astrology actually brings to people. And there's a lot to it. There's a lot of study behind it. Definitely not going to be able to get to all of it today. But what we're going to be talking about today is your sun sign, basically where you're at, or basically like what where the sun was at the time of your birth. And whenever I say that, I mean what constellation it was pointed at. There's houses, there's all sorts of stuff with astrology. We're not going to be able to get into all of that because, you know, we would be here for several hours or days or years. but yeah, so you all probably know what your sun sign is. For example, mine is Cancer. I was born July 7th, so I was born in Cancer, the constellation. And that kind of represents your overall, the ego, your mind, the person who you are at the core. And I see some of you know, Faulty has seen Scorpio, Kalis is Pisces, and we'll talk about those. Each individual astrological sun sign is also ruled by a planet, which also helps drive and determine personality traits and stuff as well. Yeah, it looks like Ereth says Sagittarius. Yeah. Cancer gang. Yes. So how can stars in our planet help shape who you are? That's a very important question. A lot of people don't understand how or why. And a lot of the belief comes from the determination of where the planets and stars were at the time of your birth develops and determines the type of personality and the type of individual that you're going to be during your lifetime. And there's different houses associated with that, and those are the key portions of like your personality and your life cycle. So like I was saying before, we're just going to kind of talk about some of the basics today. And a lot of this is just kind of astrology in a nutshell. There's no two astrological charts that are alike, but there are generations of people that will share common traits. So take Pluto and Uranus and Saturn, for example. Typically, they're very slow-moving planets. So those planets are going to be in different areas generationally, but they may show up in a specific constellation for a lot of people that are born because of how slowly they move. So there's some generational traits that can come out that astrology kind of creates. And that's an interesting aspect of creating different generations, because one group of people may have a different mindset and a belief. And you all may have heard of like the age of Aquarius, for example, where we moved out of the previous age. We're moving into the age of Aquarius, and that's the age of enlightenment and scientific discovery and whatnot. So those are like the long term, the long moving patterns that astrology reads as well. It's also important to know that your sun sign is not all you are. Your sun sign is just a very basic interpretation of the type of personality you may represent whenever you are born. So you have a lot of other aspects. Where were your planets at the time of your birth? Where were comets? There's two comets that are commonly in outside of our solar system that we read as well that may have an impact based on some astrological history. So you also have things like your ascendant, that your rising sign. You have a lot that are kind of aspect together to create this holistic picture of who you are as a personality. So there's a lot to it, and that's why it's not easy to just say, oh, I'm a Cancer, so I'm an emotional crab. It's a lot more than that, because I have a rising sign and a different sign, and that affects personality with emotion, and those two things kind of combine together to create that individual aspect of it. Another important thing to remember is that astrology is a tool. It's not self-fulfilled prophecy. It's not a way to say I'm going to be a great person, or I'm going to do great things, or even a way to say I'm going to be a terrible person, or I'm going to do terrible things. One sec. Water. Water is so important. Hydrate if you need water. It's very important that people don't utilize astrology as a way of creating a self-fulfilled prophecy for what their life has to be. A lot of people build every aspect of their life around their astrological chart, and I've seen some very extreme cases where people just don't live the life that they should because of that sort of belief system. And I think it's important to remember that everything about astrology and tarot, and we'll go into this again is that we all have our own free will to make what we want of our lives. You can learn from experiences. You can learn from what your chart says, so that way you can be beneficial to your life and you can do more and be a good individual without having to worry about maybe some of the negatives that pop up in your astrological chart. So your results may vary. There have been plenty of clients that I personally had that we have talked about parts of their chart that just absolutely make no sense to them, and that's okay. There's ways that certain parts of your chart could override personality traits from other parts, and that's what makes astrology such a fantastic belief system and something that's wonderful to study, because there's so much nuance and there's so much personality and individuality to it as well. I'm going to take a look at chat real quick. So, Ireth says, how do the movement of the stars affect personality? Is it like how the moon affects everything our body does? So the belief is that where the planets were in the constellations when you were born, or where the planets in what house, because houses are kind of like the screenshot of the universe, develop like the personalities of who you are as an individual. So where it's basically at the moment you were born, the snapshot of what the sky looked like. And there's actually different beliefs and different charts, natal charts as they call them, that are, so there's like a tropical one, which means where were the stars at a certain latitude and longitude, because some people believe it's more accurate than this other one. And there's a lot of belief and theory into that. So that's why I say results may vary, because there's quite a bit there. And some interpretation is problematic. Yeah. Emotional crab. Bella, I'm an emotional crab. 1000%. Hydrate. Yes. I had a big old glass of ice water because I knew I was going to be late. Coffee. Bean juice. Yes. Oh, y'all are talking about drinks. Oh, okay. Cool. Next, we're going to talk about the signs. So which one are you? Tell if you feel comfortable. Please don't feel like you have to share information. But if you would like to list and chat, let us know what your sign is. You March 20th through April 18th is Aries. Major traits in Aries is energy and initiative. They're ruled by the planet Mars. April 19th through May 20th is Taurus. Their traits are reliability and persistence. They're ruled by Venus. May 21st through June 20th is Gemini. Their traits are versatility and curiosity, ruled by Mercury. 6/21 through July 22nd is our Cancers. Their traits are intuition and sympathy, and they are ruled by the Moon. July 23rd through August 22nd is Leo. Their traits are confidence and self-expression, and they're ruled by the Sun. And then August 23rd through September 22nd are Virgos. Their traits are analysis and perfectionism, and they're ruled by the planet Mercury. And as you can see over here on my slides, I have the wheel, which represents the various signs of the astrological chart. And then these individual pie slices are the houses, like I was talking about before, which we won't be able to go over today, unfortunately. But they represent other, the houses represent other types of personality trait. So then we have September 23rd through October 22nd, which is Libra. Their traits are balance and harmony, and they are ruled by Venus. Then we have our October 23rd through November 21st, Scorpios. Their traits are passion and intensity, and they are ruled by, in modern times, they're ruled by Pluto, but in ancient astrology and previous beliefs, they were ruled by Mars. So some people read one or the other. Results may vary. Whatever you feel like you kind of are in tune with, that's what I say you should follow, or what planet you're ruled by. November 22nd through December 21st is Sagittarius. Their traits are adventure and independence, and they're ruled by the planet Jupiter. December 22nd through January 19th is Capricorn. Their traits are ambition and organization, and they are ruled by planet Saturn. January 20th through February 18th is Aquarius, and their traits are originality and vision, and they are ruled by Uranus, which is the modern interpretation, and then in old thought they were ruled by Saturn. And then last but not least, we have February 19th through March 19th, which is Pisces, and their traits are sensitivity and faith, and they are ruled by modern terms Neptune, and in old belief, they're ruled by Jupiter. So, tell me in chat, did you know what planet you were ruled by? Did you know what your sun sign was? And that way we can kind of get a conversation started. So, Capricorn's a symbol. my best friend's a Capricorn, so. All faulty small. Is faulty, are you small? Yeah, I have a tattoo of my astrological symbol as well. I won't show it because I look terrible right now. But I have a Cancer symbol on my arm. Yes, Cass, you are ruled by the sun. You Leos, y'all are bright and shiny. Yeah, Virgos are definitely they're the personalities of balance, and that sort of they're like, it's very much a communicative sort of sign. Being ruled by Mercury, especially, there's a lot of communication that goes into it. A lot of just conversation skills, diplomacy especially. My fiance is a Scorpio. Typically, Cancers and Scorpios are very, very compatible. Okay, so let's talk about the planets for a minute. So not only is your sun sign important, which is the aspect of the constellation that was in the sun, or the sun was in whenever you were born, but the planet that you were ruled by also governs some of the personality traits that you have as an individual. So I like this quote. I came up with this, and it's supposed to kind of draw a thought. It's supposed to get you thinking before we talk about the planets. The planets were in position when you were born just for your life. So, as I said before, typically no two astrological charts are the same. It's very rare. I mean, it probably happens, but there is no two individuals who are born in the same place at the same time, unless you're twins, that are going to create the same chart. Because even if you're born at the same time, it's very rare that someone is going to be born in the same location that you are, because the location also determines where the planets are in reference to your life. So the planets and everything were in line and in place just for you when you were born. So keep that in mind when we start talking about this. Each planet has unique aspects about them, and these aspects also play into the sun sign that you are as well. So the sun itself represents the self, main concerns, and vitality. So it's the sun, the bringer of life. It talks about the vitality of man and the reference to the achievement of being alive. The moon is governed kind of opposite. It's done by emotions and instincts and habits. So what are your emotional triggers, and what are your instincts? What's your gut tell you? And what habits do you have? Those are what are controlled and powered by the moon. And then you have Mercury, which is represented by communication and intellect, reason. Mercury is the sign of the scribe. Those of you who are writers, those of you who are in journalism, a lot of what you do can be ruled by Mercury. Venus is love and beauty and art, and anything to do with those aspects of being creative and open about expression. Mars is about action and desire and aggression. Mars being the warring planet, it's not all about just pure adrenaline, though. It's about being a person who wants to rise to action, wants to rise to the occasion. Then Jupiter is about expansion and optimism and abundance. Jupiter being the largest planet, it's abundant. It talks about the bigness and the openness of the mind, the optimistic side of the imagination. Saturn is talking about restriction and pessimism and structure. Saturn is very much the structured father of the solar system, the restrictive, but I'm restricting you because I know what your limits are. And then Uranus, which is rebellion, eccentricity, I can never say that word right, and then upheaval. Uranus is the one that is the teenager who is going through that part of their life where they're ready to kind of step out into the world. So it talks about that rebellious side of you, like what you do when you're caged in, and the eccentricities of your personality. Like, are you going to be someone who's eccentric, or are you going to be someone who's considered normal? Uranus could help rule this, but based on where it is in your life. And then you have Neptune, which is the planet of imagination, dreams, and delusions. So Neptune encourages you to dream. It encourages you to imagine and understand and know more about life and where you're going to be at. And then, of course, you have Pluto here at last, which talks about transformation and obsession and power. Pluto being, once a planet, then a mini planet, then a not, whatever the whole point is. Pluto still represents a huge aspect of personality, and it's the planet of transformations. It's wherever it is in your life at the time of your birth represents what type of transformative power you have in your abilities, and also what you may obsess over and what you may have to look out for during your lifetime. So this is bringing it all together. This is actually my astrological chart. We could talk about this for a second. Again, I'm not going to 1000% go into it because it gets a little tricky. I'm going to take a look at chat real quick. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. Yeah, it looks like it's just conversation. Cool. So my chart is, okay, so this is quite a lot. I agree. There's a lot of aspects to this. Everything steps down. There's little triangles and squares and conjunctions, and all of this is representative of personality traits that help you build a chart, like whenever I'm doing a reading for you or whenever I'm pulling your chart together. So for me, for example, my sun was in Cancer whenever I was born, and this is based on the time and location of my birth. So I was born, I'm not going to tell you exactly, I was born late in the morning, and I was born in southwestern Oklahoma. So this is what my snapshot looked like. Each of these represent the sun signs. So each of these are these are the astrological signs. Each one of these pie pieces, these are the individual pieces which represent the houses. And then everything else, it looks the planets. So as you can see, there's Jupiter, for example, there's the moon. And I'm not good with the rest of the planets because the signs there's Pluto. I know Pluto. Sailor Moon taught me a lot of what I know about what the planet signs look like. So I am not ashamed to admit that. So my moon, for example, was in Taurus whenever I was born. So if we go back to our represent of Taurus, which was reliability and persistence, and then we look at what the moon represented, which was your emotions and your instincts and habits, that tells me that my moon sign, which is representative of my emotions and how my instincts are going to work, will be driven more so by Taurus. And with Taurus being the one of reliability and persistence, it means that even though my sun sign may say I'm an emotional person, my moon sign helps guide my emotions to be more persistent. I have the ability to hang on to feelings and understanding. And I also have the ability to hold grudges sometimes. That's kind of more of a negative aspect, but it does come up. But my emotions tend to be, they tend to stick out. Or not stick out, but rather they tend to maintain. And part of being a moon in Taurus means that I'm not going to have as much of an emotional kind of outburst, rather than if I was like a moon in Cancer, for example, where I may be a little bit more prone to emotional outbursts. So that's just kind of an example of how having a planet or the moon, for example, in a different sign can help guide the personality away from what the sun sign is. And that's kind of the idea. So you pull out charts and you start building your personality charts based on where the signs are. And then you have other things like cusps, which mean, like, if you see my moon sign here, it's right between two signs and it's very close to passing over. So that means it could hold traits of both signs, and results, again, may vary and all of that. So that's pretty much that part. Hey, Absol, could you link a site? I actually prepared this myself on my own software that I utilize. There are websites out there that you can go to. I personally would be very careful with putting your information out there. I would recommend working with an astrologer who utilizes their own individual software that does not store any data, because unfortunately a lot of people are prone to identity issues when they go online because if you put your date of birth, your location of your birth, and the time of your birth, that gives them a lot of information. And unfortunately, skip tracers and all of that, it really kind of provides a lot of info that can be a little open to giving problems. So I would recommend finding an astrologer who has a program that they can use offline, or that it's someone that you trust to pull a chart for you. You can go online. If you do, don't put your actual information in. Give them a different name whenever you fill it out. Just be safe online. Everyone knows, like, we all have to be careful. So use a fake name and be cognizant of the type of site you're putting your information into. And then, of course, you have me. Like I'll say whenever we're wrapping up here, you can DM me at any time. I do take personal astrology chart readings, and I will give you a basic personality profile, and we will talk about some of the cadences and the major points in your astrological signs. So with that being said, though, there is a disclaimer that I'd like to go over. So both astrology and tarot are long practiced spiritual paths and find roots in all manner of religions and walks of life. You personally have free will, and you have the opportunity to learn and grow. An astrological chart or a tarot reading will never tell you something definite like a life or death situation. Please always use your best judgment and intuition when you are receiving advice for your life. You are ultimately in control. So never will an astrological reading or a tarot reading tell you you're going to die in 5 minutes or you're going to win the lottery tomorrow. It just doesn't work that way. The sort of information that you are getting from spirit and the information that's being read to you is being given to you based on where your energy is at this moment, and especially with the type of belief that you have, it can change moment to moment. So the second you're given a tarot reading and you're given information that can help guide you to a different path, you're instantly changing that sort of path or that future. So always keep that in mind, that you are in control. You have free will. So nothing is ever set in stone, and you can make the changes that you need to develop and really tune yourself in to a path that's best for your life. So with that being said, I'm going to take another drink of water and I'm going to check out Chad. I also have my Twitter. I also have Telegram. I will have my Twitter and Telegram chats posted at the end of this reading, or at the end of this, so that way y'all can reach out to me. And please excuse my messy office. It's kind of been a de facto con ops. All right, let me get prepared here. Tarot readings. I don't know if you guys were here waiting for this, but we're going to be doing some live tarot readings. Yay! So here are some points about the live tarot readings. I'll conduct a few live readings as time allows. We're about 10:38, and so I can probably do a couple here. I'll pick questions at random from the Twitch chat audience. Each spread that I'll do will contain 3 cards, which will be a past, present, and future reading. I will need you to be very clear and specific with your reading. So when you ask your question, I need you to not just be like, where's my life going in 20 years? Because it's going to just be very generic. I may ask you to post in chat in some ways to identify your personal energy. Like I may ask you, I need you to tell me 3 things. I need you to tell me a color, an item, and a flower. And that's kind of my way to, I guess it's like an encryption thing. It's my way to connect with your energy. So that way, even though you're just on chat, we can kind of connect in that energy, spiritual way. And yeah, so let's go. Let me see here. And just so y'all know, this is my tarot deck that I use. I hope it's not backwards. Let me look at my Twitch stream. It's not. This is the Affirmators Tarot. It is very cute. The cards are very lively and beautiful, and I love using this deck so much. So it's very important to find a tarot deck that you connect with in a good way. It helps kind of create a good connection. So I don't read reversed. If you're used to someone reading a reversed reading for you, I do not. Every card that comes up will come up as it will. So go ahead, if you will. If you would like a reading, go ahead and give me a heart emoji in the Twitch chat. Okay, perfect. Wow, that's quite a bit. I'm just going to go ahead and start with the top of the list. So, Mizora, Miso, I love you. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for supporting me and being here. Mizora, go ahead and formulate your question. If the rest of the Twitch chat, if you could maintain, not silence, but if you could just keep the chatter down to a minimum for a moment while me and Mizora create a connection. As specific as you can get, Mizora. How to control a Twitch chat 101. Just do a live tarot reading. That's okay, Mizora. Take your time. I mean, not too much time, because others, but, you know. X Lune Loire, I'll be doing a reading for you next, so if you can go ahead and get your question ready off screen, and then whenever we're done with Mizora, we'll come to you next. And if y'all are wondering, I'm shuffling my cards right now. I'm putting my energy and my thoughts and focus into my deck while we're kind of focusing here. All right, so Mizora asks, what does my summer hold as far as my personal life? No, that's not vague. Mizora, can you list a color that you're associating with right now? Can you also give me the color of the shirt you're wearing? And can you tell me a flower that you are associating with right now? Okay. All right, so pull out our 3 cards, the past, present, and future. So since we're talking about, since we're talking about the summertime, we have the past, present, and future. The past is probably going to represent right now. It's going to represent where we're at this moment. The present's going to represent the first part of the summer, and then the future is going to represent the last part of the summer. So you have the Hermit as your first card. Definitely in a situation of kind of self-exploration. In a card, a quest for personal truth. You're looking for more inside of yourself, for questions about your life in terms of where you've been. A lot of times the Hermit is someone who's on sort of a spiritual quest, someone who has been trying to maintain their own personal boundaries while understanding who they are at their core. Someone who's going through a lot of transformation. The Hermit is not necessarily just someone who is isolated, though in a lot of times they are. I feel like right now you're feeling very isolated. I think that's a lot of us right now. I think a lot of us, like the Hermit, we're starting to want to look like we're coming out of hiding, and we want to use the knowledge we've gained over the last year to really kind of bloom and blossom into something wonderful. The Nine of Wands, which is your present card, which is moving into the summertime. The Wands they're a suit of creativity. They're ruled by fire, and they're more geared towards the imagination, the creative whims within you. So you're definitely looking at something with keeping and maintaining like your boundaries and your persistence. It looks like that you're wanting to kind of juggle a lot of ideas right now. I see that there's a lot of ideas and feelings and things that you're wanting to do and things that you're wanting to kind of get out on the table, but you're not quite sure how to do that. I think that the best way forward, especially in a creative path, is to do what you're best at first and then look towards the sort of things that you're best at. So always like work on bettering yourself, but also focus on the creative aspects of your life that you know that you can excel at. Because if you see results quickly, especially when you're coming out of a period of dormancy, it can help kind of boost your own personal morale. And if you can see, just to show you this card, the Nine of Wands, this poor zebra, he's trying to juggle a lot of different wands here. He's trying to keep up with everything. And I feel like that's your energy right now, Mizora. I feel like that you're trying to juggle a lot in your mind. And I think going into the summer, you're not quite sure where your energy should be expended. I definitely think you should take the time right now while you have the Hermit on your side. I think you should take this moment to really focus on the individual processes that you want to do better at and that you want to focus on and be good at moving into the summer. I think that you've already started this process. I think you're just kind of worried about what the climate may bring. I can't speak for the health and safety of everything. I do personally hope that everything starts reopening this summer, but we have, it's just a certain way of life. We have to kind of see how it goes. And a lot of that is definitely brought with the last card that you have, which is the Wheel of Fortune. This represents good fortune. It also represents a turning point. It also represents good luck for you. The Wheel of Fortune also represents that you're in a place where anything is possible for you right now. This is one of the best, luckiest cards that you can receive, especially as a final card in a reading. And it represents that the world is your oyster right now. So whatever you feel like that you want to excel at, and whatever you feel like that you're ready to do and ready to step forward for, go for it. Because Spirit is saying right now you have the energy on your side and you have the capability of selecting what you want to do and what you're ready for. So don't be afraid to step into something and focus and put your energy into it because it's going to be worthwhile. So, and that's it. I hope that helped. All right, X Luna, if you want to go ahead and post your question in chat, we will move forward. Thank you all. I appreciate those. Yeah, tarot readings should always be positive. If you ever get a tarot reading done and I'll be real. Sometimes that there are some real conversations you have to have with a tarot reading, but you should never leave a tarot reading feeling negative. You should always leave a tarot reading feeling inspired. So X Luna, you have another minute or so. I need you to post your questions so that way we can get through your reading. And unfortunately, that may be all the time that I have. No problem, Miso. Yeah, anytime that you come to me for a tarot reading, I guarantee that I will have you leaving feeling optimistic and hopeful about your future, because ultimately that's my job as a guide and a reference from your spirit, from the cards to you. It's my job to enhance and enrich your life. The good thing about this is that I also control the next panel, so if we do run over, I'm not too concerned because the next panel is our Minecraft, and I'm literally going to just be running around in Minecraft looking at all the things that were built, so it's okay if we go a little bit over. Okay, so X Lune says, how will my past life experiences inflict my summer? Okay. X Lune, can you please post the color of your house, a food that you associate with, and a book that you like. You can go to Auracast, AURACAST.com, and you can get more information on my readings and how to get something from me. I'm sorry, it's the Auracast. So it's TAGAURACAST.com. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, so past life experience inflict my summer. All right, I have to look at this one for a minute. So I'm seeing a lot of conflict that has happened recently. The first card that you got is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is representative of traditions and conventional expectations and conformity. So I feel like that you were probably put in a situation where you were forced to maintain a sort of personality or something that maybe you weren't necessarily happy with having to do. And I'll show you this card. The Hierophant is a very proud, very definitely a conventional type of card. It represents someone who has had to kind of act in place of really letting their spirit flag fly, so to speak. I feel like that maybe you were expected to maintain or be a certain way, and you're trying to break free of that and move forward. Your second card is a Seven of Wands, which again, your wands represent your fire and the creative side of like who you are. But the Seven of Wands represents someone in self-defense, someone who had to protect themselves against competition. And as you can see here in this card, the little dinosaur here is kind of protecting himself up against the rest of the crowd. And it's someone who has had to kind of put up barriers to prevent themselves from being hurt or being harmed in some way. And I think that there is a lot of protection going on for yourself right now. I feel like something has happened in your past that's made you have to maintain a certain level of kind of like shielding your personality from who you really are. I think that there is a lot of feeling here of there's a lot of burden on you. I feel like that maybe you're not allowed to be who you really want to be, maybe around friends and family. I feel family a lot. But your last card is the Moon. And the Moon represents voluntary changes. It represents being able to trust your intuition. You're moving into a period of your life now where the moon is giving you the opportunity to trust your gut. So basically, you're being told, or your gut is feeling a way where you're saying, I feel like I'm ready to make a change, or I'm ready to move forward in some way. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and move forward in that way, because you're definitely in that sort of mindset, and that you're in that energy now, that feeling that you have is going to help you move forward and kind of attach to that new energy. And what you had happen to you in the past, though it may be frustrating and sad to you, let it help you grow. Don't hold on to those ill will and those feelings that you may have. Let those negative feelings go, and know that the things that you're choosing for yourself now, that you're moving forward with, those things are those feelings, and that strength is what you really should attune yourself with going forward into the future. So so just make sure that you trust your intuition, and you'll be okay. I feel a little emotional because I feel like there's a lot of heaviness to this. I can definitely feel it. But don't give up. You're going to be okay, and things are going to work out for you. So make sure that you just trust your intuition and hold on to those around you who are closest to you, and you'll be just fine. So, yeah. All right, guys, it's 11 o'clock. Those are the only readings that I could get through, and I apologize. I wish I could do 100 more. I will be back probably here in about 15 minutes or so for our Minecraft parade. I want to thank you so much for your time today. Please, please, please follow me on Twitter. I'm at Isuna Brisama. You can also join my Telegram chat. I am at t.me/Aracast. I really am trying to build my client base a bit more. I've recently started doing more in terms of branching out and doing readings and astrological charts, and all of that. So if you have any questions after this, feel free to send me a friend request on Discord, and I'll add you and we can talk. That's perfectly fine. I don't mind. Yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad that I could have shared with you all. And yeah, so please reach out to me. You can DM me on Twitter, you can join my Telegram chat, or you can add me on Discord, and we can have more conversations. And yeah, so I look forward to seeing you all in the future, and I'll be back probably about 11:15 for our Minecraft parade. All right, have a good one, and see you later.